Hi, Orange Girl here with another scrapbooking process video for you. I am working with Flair from A Flair for Buttons today. I have this photograph of a gorgeous margarita and this piece of Flair that has a margarita on it, and then a few other pieces of Flair that I thought I might use. So I pulled those pieces out and I've kind of been waiting to use that. And I've also pulled out my Amy Tangerine papers and the 6x8 pad and the embellishment pack and the thickers and all of those sorts of things. Pulled them all out to see because I knew they had some good rainbow, bright, and orange colors in them. I've used some of it before, so some of these are smaller pieces of things that I've already cut into, and some of these are full 6x8 pieces from the 6x8 paper pad. And now I'm just kind of going through the ephemera pack and trying to find some things that might fit with the idea of my layout and also with the colors that I'm looking at. And I really settled on the hello. I really like the hello and the journal spots. And then I kind of went back and forth between a couple different journal spots and then also this frame. So the frame doesn't fit the photograph, but I've kind of like putting a photo kind of on top of it and using the frame as just a layer behind the photo. I've done that before and I really like the way that it looks. So I pulled a bunch of black and whites. One of the things that I really like about Amy Tangerine collections in general is that there are typically some really good black and white pattern papers, and then there's also a lot of color. And so I like the combination of black and white with color. So I started by, because Hello was yellow, I felt like I needed some other yellow on the page. And so I pulled some things like flowers um, that have yellow in them. And then I just kind of go back and forth with that. I decided at this point that I don't really need probably that entire piece of 6x6 paper. So I'm going to go ahead and put it, cut the middle out or cut part of it out and put it onto my background. Now, I went back and forth about whether this background paper with all of these other stripes and patterns was too much. And I stepped back a couple of times and thought, yeah, it's too much. And then I would change my mind and go, no, I kind of like it because the patterns are rather small because I'm using the 6x8 pad. And so for the most part, it's not super crazy. But, well, you'll see what ends up happening here in a minute. So this photo, I printed out using my new Canon IV printer, which I love, and it prints out as a sticker. And at first I pulled the sticker off and I was going to put it directly onto the foam adhesive. And then I remembered that I wanted to put some tissue paper behind the photo. So I ended up actually putting tissue paper first and then foam adhesive. And then I put some foam adhesive also behind the hello. My title is going to be Moss Margaritas because that is the title of the place that we went to on this night. So the story here is it was actually my mother-in-law's birthday, and it wasn't her birthday that day, but she had been sick on her birthday. So we kind of tabled going out until we typically go out to eat for birthdays. And so we kind of tabled that and didn't do it until she was feeling better. And so on this night, we went to this restaurant, and it was a new restaurant in town, and we happened to know the owners, and so we were pretty excited about going there. I ran out of A's, black A's, so I switched to the pretty, like, glittery alphas that are on this. There's black ones and glittery ones. And later I find an A, but it doesn't matter. I kind of like it with them a little bit different. Anyway, so the story is just about, it was her birthday. We were going out to celebrate her birthday a little bit later than normal, and that we went to this new place. So Moss Margaritas is the name of the place, so that's what the title is. So kind of you could say the hello is part of it. Hello, Moss Margaritas. And I just took a picture of this with my my phone. It's just a phone photo, but it is one of the portrait photos that you can do on the iPhone. And so I have like the background is kind of blurred, and I like it. I like the way that it looks, and so yeah, so I wanted to scrap this photo. When you're at restaurants, a lot of times it's so dark that it's hard to get good photos, but this one just happened to turn out. Any of the photos that I took of the actual people on this night didn't really work, so that's why I ended up just using the drink, and I thought it was appropriate given, you know, the title of the restaurant and such. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and rip the side of the page, and I'm ripping it to reveal this piece that I stuck behind it. So I knew I wanted the whole side of the page to be ripped, and so if you glue it first, then you don't have to try to figure out how to make it still be 12 by 12. So that's what I ended up doing there. Now, I'm going to give you a little preview here of something that's going to happen, or a little sneak, in the sense that, yeah, this all changes. Well, not all of it, really. What happens is I walk away, I take a photo of this. A lot of times when I'm working on something, I'll take a photo of it, if especially if I'm having a hard time making a decision about where to put some things, or if something looks good or whatever. I'll take a photo and I'll go put it on my computer and I'll blow it up so that I can look at it, and oftentimes that will really help. So what I'm doing now is I'm trying to decide where to put the Flair. I wanted a little bit more green, so I found these old, I think they're from Pink Fresh Studio, but I cannot remember. They're pretty old. Wood veneers that have enamel on them, I guess it would be called enamel, and it's green and it matches really nicely. I also found this in my green drawer. I found these green pieces of sequins, and then I kind of didn't really like those. I went through a bunch of my Spiegel Mom scraps, and I didn't find the color that I wanted. So right now, I haven't taken the photo yet, but in a few minutes here, I'm going to take a photo after I put these on off camera, and I'm going to go look at it, and I decide that I don't like what I see. I like the basic idea of what I see, but I don't like it in general because it's too busy. So in a minute here, you're going to see it cut out, and now this is a new day. I'm going to take it apart. Yes, I'm taking it apart. So I'm going to put it on a white background just to tame it down a little bit. So I'm just grabbing my white cardstock. I pulled everything off as best as I could. Luckily, I hadn't used any liquid adhesive, so it would come up without too much trouble. And then I'm just going to kind of rebuild it now at this point. So it's going to be almost exactly the same. It's just that it is now on a white background. So these little things that look like they might be sequins or something, they're little kiwi slices. They're from a company called Dress My Craft. I got them in the paper issue store. They would be awesome for little shaker elements on a page or in a mini book or on a card. I got several different kinds of them, and these little kiwis, although they're kiwis, when you put them on a layout with margaritas, they almost look like they could be a lime. And to be honest, I grabbed them more for the color because I really like the color of them, and I thought I needed more green on the page, and I ended up loving the fact that they look kind of like a lime. So I end up using those at some point here. So here I am coming back with some yellow, trying to decide if I need to add these flowers. I don't really like the flowers on the layout. And so I kind of walked away again and came back to add some thread. So I've added some green thread and some orange thread, I think, in the areas that my 2 pieces of Flair are going to go at this point. So 1 piece of Flair, that lovely margarita Flair, is going to go by the margarita picture. And then the other Flair is going to go up in one of the corners here. So as I'm doing this, I messed up. And I don't know if you can see this or not, but bottom left, you can see some of the pattern paper that this is just a branding strip that's over on the left, and you can see some of the pattern paper. So I just threw another piece of Flair over it because that was a piece that I had been going back and forth on and trying to decide if I wanted to use that stripey Flair or not. And this I just decided was I was going to use it now. So I am going to take off. So at this point, I'm looking at those foam stickers there that are over on my right. And that's where I'm pulling those little flowers from. And then I pulled a little heart. And I end up just not liking it. And maybe if I'd have taken the stuff off the bottom right, I'd have been okay because I just ended up, I don't know, I just ended up not liking it. So a part of it was because I wanted to have that, bottom left to top right, kind of where all that sequin stuff is, or the kiwis are. Kind of wanted that to be a strong line, and when I put the flowers over on the right, it detracted from that. Plus, I just didn't feel like the flowers worked with the layout, so I just took them off, and I end up liking it. It's a little plain. It's a little bit more plain than probably what I usually do. It's definitely not as busy as it was when I started with the other background, but I do like how this one ended up. So I did do my journaling. I should tell you this. I did do my journaling on that on that little card there using my, what's it called? Typewriter. Yeah, that's it. And then I'm going to put this hello up there. I decided there was enough yellow. I put some green behind it. I decided there was enough yellow because there is yellow in all of the striped elements that are on the page. So, yeah, so I kind of thought about a couple other things and then just decided I was done. So the close-ups are going to come up here pretty quickly. I'll link below where obviously I got them at a Flair for Buttons, but I'll link below specifically which Flair sets that these pieces of Flair are from. All of my papers and things I got from the paper issue store. So I'll go ahead and link that for you below as well. Thanks a lot for stopping by, and I will see you soon in my next video.